Hello, my name is Kate Willers, and I'm here to kind of talk through and answer some reflective questions about my assignment for unit of study. So, to start with, just as a little background reminder, I am a theater educator at the high school level here in the Denver area. I teach in Littleton, Colorado. And the unit of study I chose to focus on was our stagecraft costume design unit. So there's a lot of different ways the different teachers go through costume design. And this is mine. And there are obviously some things that I would like to change and so on, but I will kind of answer some of these questions and talk through it. To start, the students will provide appropriate evidence of identifying different understandings. So through this, I focused on the backward design model. And so obviously through that, the students were aware that they needed to have a final product that showed appropriate design for a production of their choice. So that involved them seeing a final product, the background, or the backwards design. So seeing a final product with a final costume design for 5 different characters. So they knew that that was their end result. So they needed to have these 5 well thought out, well done, neat and organized designs. So the students showed their evidence of the understanding of that process by going through a pretty thorough research and preliminary design process. So as we go through here, we did identify the desired results. So they knew they needed these 5 designs. And then beyond that, we talked about just the differences and the possibilities of what their end results could be. So determining their acceptable and appropriate evidence. These students spent their time going through a Project Runway style, just basic design process. So they picked out clothes and they said, okay, who is this character? How does their clothing affect them? And what can we tell just looking at this person about who their character is? So through this activity, here shown on the page, my students could really show their understanding of how just clothing affects a character. The authentic application in this is really, so beyond the Project Runway thing, is going through their Padlet board. So I'll go backwards just a little bit here. But for their Padlet board, they had to just post, and Padlet is kind of like a Pinterest style website if people haven't used that, but they had to show their understanding of what these characters were influenced by, the time period, the context of the character within the story. And these are all things, so this is authentic application, because these are all things that a professional designer would do. They would do this script work, historical analysis, character analysis, and put it all together before even coming up with any sort of design sketches, preliminary or not. And then this unit does have a variety of appropriate assessments, because we start with this Padlet, which shows me, they turn this into me, and they show me that they understand the play, they understand the characters, they understand how they work together, all that contextual stuff that I talked about. And then they show me that they understand working with a group, working with a design team through their Project Runway experience. And then their final assessment for this is showing and turning in and then presenting their final sketches of each of these 5 individual costumes. Generally, they do have an opportunity to self-assess, but this semester, unfortunately, I switched over to a quarter class versus a whole semester class. So we did run out of time for that self-assessment. But I do agree that it is super important, and it's usually in my units of study, but we did run out of time for it this time. So I will make sure to leave the time for that self-assessment and for a peer assessment, which I think is also important. Giving feedback to peers along with yourself is huge for growth. So that was my unit. And as I talk about towards the end of this in my conclusion, and my self-reflection is really just coming up with different ways for students who are not artistically inclined to show their understanding, because I know a lot of them do get kind of stressed out when they are required to sketch out an idea or visually show an idea. So I'm trying to brainstorm more ideas for ways for them to show their understanding that maybe don't involve the tactile drawing and sketching, because I know that's not for everyone. So that is my goal for next time. Thank you so much.